Hi Agnes. This is going to be that tutorial that you asked for a kick lift. This is what it looks like. And then here's how you do it. So the most important thing is you're going to slide the hoop onto your foot. The sweet spot is right where your toes bend up. You can't really tell that in my dance shoes, but it's about right here. So not in the middle of the foot or on the top of the foot where it's going to slide down, but in that little place where you can hook it by lifting your toes. Then you're going to push through your heel, and this is the most important part probably, is this pushing through the heel, because it's what keeps your foot flexed so that you can lift the hoop up to you. So, and that's really all you're doing. You're lifting it up, and depending on how high you get it, by which kind of way you start it, you're either going to step into it with the foot that just did the lifting, or you're going to get it really high, oops, so that you can catch it with your hands if you don't have a low ceiling. It occurs to me now this is going to be a challenge. So you want to spot on your hoop in the inside opposite side. So if I'm lifting this hoop on my foot right here, I'm going to be spotting right here and willing that into my hand. What my hands are going to do is, as my foot lifts, they're going to go out and together and cross like you're getting ready to dive into a lake. So we're going to lift, cross, and then if you open your hands from that crossed position and you haven't kicked the hoop very high, oops, you can catch it and put it on you and start hooping or whatever you want to do. So I pushed out, took my hoop in, and I can either step out of it, step into it, whatever I want to do. So that's pretty good for step throughing, I guess, is probably the main thing I do with that. I lift it up and step through. It looks prettier if you don't bend your knee like I just did. So before we move on to how to get it a little higher, I want to talk to you real quick about how to stretch your leg out, because you've got two muscles really at play here. This big hamstring back here, it needs to be loosened up here, but it also needs to be loosened up here. And also the front of your leg, which needs to be loosened up here. So if you just let your leg swing back and forth while standing in all four corners of that balancing leg, and practice keeping it flexed. So normally when we lift our legs, to make them look pretty, we go up and then we point our toe. But if we do that with this move, the hoop is going to flip over. Here, I'll show you. And just flip right off the hoop. I didn't want to do it too much because I didn't want it to go too far towards the camera, but you see what I'm saying? You'll see. I'll probably mess it up before I'm done with this. So, once you've done this a little bit and do it on both sides, loosening up both sides will help the side that you actually want to lift with. Know that you don't have to get your hoop very high with your legs. You just need to give it a burst of energy at the front of it. So my leg usually doesn't come any higher, even for the one that goes above my head. But the way I give it a burst of energy is I come up onto the balancing foot, the foot that's flexed. I put all of my weight on it and feel all four corners of it, even though I still have this hook thing happening, so you can turn your toes up from the end. Then I'm going to sit back into my hip and then into my heel at the same time as I bring my hoop up and at the same time as I dive in with my hands. Spotting, whoops, where I want to catch it on the opposite side. So without the hoop, how I'm adding that energy is I'm moving my balance onto this foot, and then I'm bouncing on the back foot. So it kind of reminds me of the move in Karate Kid where he has to stand on the pylon and go, wait, how'd it go? It's just like this. Wait. Yeah! That's what we're doing. We're just not doing it like we're karate people. We're just generally going, pow, and lifting it up, either into our hands or with a little bit more momentum above our hands. So, and it's not that hard to give it so much momentum momentum that it goes so high that you can't catch it, regardless of how heavy it is or not. It's really got to do with how much that little burst of energy was in the sweet spot at the beginning. So I'm just going to do some right now. It's at the bend of my foot. My toes are up. I'm spotting in the opposite side. Taking my balance onto my heel. Sitting into my other heel. And if you can start to pair it with your exhale, it'll start to, that exhale itself will direct energy because you'll be relaxing into it, which will make your leg go higher and lift easier. Oops. Okay, that's what happens if you don't keep your toe flexed. So another thing is, rather than leaning down and picking up the hoop a lot, if you've got shoes that allow it, I don't know if these will, you can use your other foot to pull the hoop onto your foot. Shoot, I'm not going to be able to do it because these shoes are too tall. But you can generally just kind of go click, and it's on top of your foot, and then boom, and you're ready to step into it, and either through it or catch it. I want to work a little bit more on that top catch. I'm normally really good at that, but I think I'm intimidated because of my floors in here. So I'm just going to try one this way so that you can hopefully see each side. So here. And now over here. So I recommend that you just stand around and you do that. Do it like 10 times. Just try to go for 10 catches. And know that even if you're not catching it up here, even if you're catching it down here, that's okay. Because that's the step between being able to just, I'm going to try to just do it with one hand. I find one hand is often easier than two because you're just kind of following your knee. I also find it easier to focus all my energy in the one spot when I'm thinking one hand as opposed to two hands that have to be together. Alright, I think that's everything I have to say about that. Point from your toes, push from your heel, lift from the front of your thigh, and if you want more momentum, dive in with your hands, trying to get them close to like you're swimming, and if they don't get close, open them up and just hold the hoop. If you want more momentum, as you lift your hands, rock your weight into your balancing leg, your leg that you're going to lift to make it your balancing leg. Sit back into your other heel, kick, spot, catch. And hopefully, if you get used to saying, I'm going to catch it up here with my arm fully extended by my ear. Kick, stop. Ah! I'm so glad I didn't get hurt. Holy shit. Oh my God. Am I going to try to reshoot that? Maybe I'll just look at it and see how it came out. Maybe I'll share it. I busted my ass. Damn!